Hey folks, Jason here with another quick music theory tip. This video is a response to a request from Spiro. Spiro wanted to know how one can utilize whole tone scales to create tension when improvising over a static chord. Great topic. There's tons of videos I will make to cover this topic because there's so many approaches. For this video though, I'd like to focus on just one approach, which is using the fifth note of a major scale. So let's say we're in the key of G major. Now, any one of those notes I played in the key of G major, I could theoretically play a whole tone scale over. So let's say, for example, I wanted to do a whole tone scale on scale degree 2 or A, right? So fine, that's great. There's different colors you get depending on where you superimpose the whole tone scale. But one that I particularly like to use is on scale degree 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll talk about why this is in a second, but the first thing to get into here is understanding a vertical conception of improvisation. This is where I'm thinking about chords that are buried within a scale and the scales that I can use in relation to those chords. So if we're in the key of G major, I'll go ahead and do 7th chords. Our 1 chord is G major 7, our 2 chord and our 3 chord are respectively minor 7 chords, so A minor 7, B minor 7, and scale degree 4, C, gives us C major 7. So it's basically major and minor 7, which don't really align with a whole tone scale. But when I get to scale degree 5, in this case D in the key of G major, I get a D7. If I omit the 5th of the chord and I just use the root 3rd and 5th, I can still really hear the quality or character of this chord as a dominant 7, that major 3rd flat 7 in relation to the root. And what's cool about this is that the root 3rd and 7th of the D7 chord are respectively the 1st, 3rd, and 6th note of a D whole tone scale. So let's say I'm jamming in the key of G major, and I'm actually going to use an example here that's pretty consonant and doesn't actually sound that out, but it does create some nice color and just a little bit of tension before I go back into G. So maybe I'm just hanging out on G major, right? Maybe I go back and forth. Then I go to the 5 chord. Notice I went to the 5 chord. I was using notes of a whole tone scale. I didn't play the G sharp, but I did play the 6th, 5th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, back down to the 6th, and then the 5th note of the whole tone scale, the D whole tone scale, before resolving back to the 3rd note in G major. So there's a nice half-step resolution there. And essentially this is a vertical conception of harmony because I could think about it the way I just described it as scale degrees or notes within the whole tone scale, or I could think about it simply as chord tones. I'm essentially playing, we've got the root of D here, the dominant 7th, sharp 5, 3rd, 9th, root 7th, sharp 5 of a D7, or excuse me, D augmented with the dominant 7, 9. We would call this a D9 sharp 5 if we saw it as a chord symbol. So that shows how you can step out a little bit even in maybe a more mildly dissonant or mellow kind of context, something that doesn't sound too crazy or outside the box. So let's say you're playing in an R&B group or a country group or something where you want to play with these sounds, but you don't want to get fired from the gig playing some like Thelonious Monk type licks or something. This is a way that you can add color, is thinking about that 5 chord and thinking about using the whole tone scale built on the 5th scale degree or the 5 chord in the key you're in.